ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जयो श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा।
Prabhuji will be back in a minute.
Mataji, it's raining over here.
Last week, Prabhuji had difficulty, no, Mataji? I think it's the same thing is continuing even there.
Yeah,
So,
same here.
we'll just wait for a little while. He'll be back.
Yeah, no worries.
Shall we chant another round till Prabhuji joins, please? Because I can't play the video since the YouTube is on. So if you all can unmute yourselves and chant, that would be great.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Prabhuji is back. See how it, okay, he's.
I'm sorry for the problem.
1 minute, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. We just started chanting again and you came back.
Okay. Hare Krishna. I welcome all the devotees for today's Bhakti Shastri class. So today we are continuing to lesson number 7. Shri Shri Radha Govind ki jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. What we studied in lesson number 6, that is 64 items of sadhana and its division. All the 64 items are listed in the previous class. And what is the difference between principles and the detail, and its significance in the ISKCON future, how it is implemented. The principles are like the main goal, and details are the path to achieve that goal. And significance of the first 20 items, that is pravritti and nivritti, what has to be accepted and what should be given up. Demonstrated avoidance of some of the seva paradhas and importance of avoiding nama paradha. So discussion about the seva paradha and nama paradha, that is also done. Next, continuing further, this is lesson 7, devotional service. Today we are continuing with the archana, that is item number 30. Just a minute. Okay. In the book, there is page number 77 in my book. It starts with Archana. Up to the previous point we have discussed. Today we are continuing that point. This is point number 30. Here we have some of the only few items are given. So starting with Archana. Archana, what is the meaning of Archana? It is the worship of the Lord like a king. Generally, when we say Archana, it is the worship in the temple, because in the temple we worship the Lord as the king with all the facilities. And at home also we do the Archana for the Lord. But it is like when the king comes to the house, if he comes as a guest to our house, so whatever best possible way we have, we will serve him. That is the difference between Archana at temple and Archana at the house. The standard of temple is not
Prabhuji says, please wait. Please start chanting in your minds only. Huh? Prabhuji sent a message saying he's having a power cut, so everybody can please start chanting. Would you all like to chant loudly? You all can unmute and chant. You know, someone up there hears us and he's back usually. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare
Krishna Chaitanya
Hare Krishna Hare
Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare
Nandita Mati,
Yes, Prabhu.
I have shared you one PDF in WhatsApp. You can share it in the Zoom.
Yes, Prabhu, give me 1 minute. Everybody, please continue chanting.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, is this the one?
Yes, Mother, yes. You can make it full screen.
Where is that, Prabhu?
It's okay, it's okay. You can move, Mataji. Move to the
Next slide. Okay.
yeah. Go to that list.
Finish this one, Prabhu. Huh.
Yeah, I also came. Okay. Go to the next line. Okay. So this is the paricharya, that is rendering service to the Lord. Okay. So Archana to the Lord, that is performing the worship of the Lord, rendering service to the Lord in the temple. It is like a king. And this Archana Marga, it is meant especially for in the Dwapar Yuga, that Kriteya Dhyayato Vishnu, Dwaparya Paricharyayam, Kriteya Dhyayato Vishnu, Tretayam Yajato Makaihi, Dwaparya Paricharyayam, Kalotad Harikirtana. In the Kali Yuga, it is Sankirtana, and the Dwapar Yuga, it is especially given this Archana Marga. And this Archana Marga is a way how we can serve the Lord practically. So Prabhupada has given us both Harinama as well as the deity worship. Both are needed parallelly. It should both go parallelly. It is called the Bhagavata Vidhi and Pancharatra Vidhi. In Pancharatra Vidhi, we have the description how the Lord has to be worshipped. The Lord has to be worshipped like a king, as well as at the same time, we should love him like a child. Both should happen simultaneously. Why we say as a child? Because the Archa Vigraha, we should give him respect like a king, but the service that we do for the Lord, it is like a child. We wake up the child in the morning and we bathe the child and give him the bhoga. Then we play with the child, or we do the arti and kirtan to the Lord. Whatever makes him happy, we do all the activities. So that is the loving like a child. At the same time, we should respect him like a king. That is the Archana Vidhi. Mataji, you can stop the sharing. I will share directly. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Just a minute. Okay, continuing further. You can go to the book and check there, the Srimad Bhagavatam. It is told that how Sudama, an intimate friend of Krishna, while going to the house of a Brahmana, murmured to himself, simply by worshipping Krishna, one can easily achieve all the results of heavenly opulence, liberation, supremacy over the planetary systems of universe, all the opulences of this material world, and the mystic power of performing yoga system. Sudama's murmuring these statements are as follows. Sri Krishna had ordered his friend Sudama to go to a Brahmana's house and ask for some food. The Brahmanas were performing a great sacrifice, and Sri Krishna told Sudama to plead with them that he and Balrama were feeling hungry and needed some food. When Sudama went there, the Brahmanas refused to offer anything, but the wives of the Brahmana, upon hearing that Sri Krishna wanted some foodstuff, immediately took many palatable dishes and went to offer them to the Lord Sri Krishna. So this is how we have to worship the Lord. The devotee is ready to give anything and everything for the pleasure of the Lord. Here worship means the person who is worshipping should have the intention to please the Lord, to make him happy. That is the main quality a person should have. 31st is the, again continuing, rendering service to the Lord, that is paricharya. And then in the Narada Purana, it is stated, if a person stays in the Lord's temple even for few moments, he can surely achieve the transcendental kingdom of God. So potentially it is so powerful that a person who stays in the temple and who does the service to the Lord, he is eligible for going back to Godhead. Now there are many evidences and instances, examples given here under rendering service to the Lord. The main example here, Prithu Maharaj. Prithu Maharaj is the example for Archana. He has served the Lord in an exemplary manner. Just like Parikshit Maharaj is known for Shravana and Shukadeva Goswami is known for Kirtana, the Prithu Maharaj is known for this Archana Vidhi or Archana of the Lord. Further continuation, Vandana or offering prayers to the Lord. Under Vandana, there are two categories. One is Vijñapti and other one is Sthavapata. This Vijñapti and Sthavapata, what is the difference? Here Vijñapti, we are submissive to the Lord or surrendering to the Lord. And Sthavapata, in that case, the person is reciting the prayers, that is repeating the words or the prayers which is made by the past acharyas or previous devotees. Like we have Kunti Stuti, Bhishma Stuti or Vritrasura's prayers. All these prayers are there. That is called Sthavapata. And Vijñapti means complete surrender to the Lord and glorification of the Lord through the prayers. Under this Vandana, there are many categories. You can see here the 32. There are no numbers in this. You can look at yourself. It is singing. 32nd is singing. 33rd is Sankirtana. And next Japa. Then submission. And reciting notable prayers. That is Sthavapata. So all these things are coming under same category. Singing for the Lord and Sankirtana, doing the Kirtan for the Lord. All these things are coming in the same category. So what are the things here? Sankirtana or Kirtana of the Lord, it has 4 main categories, 5 main categories, that is Dhama, Rupa, Nama, Leela and Guna. Dhama means the place of residence or the place where the Lord is present, or the temple, the Dhama. And Rupa, the form of the Lord, the where we can have the darshan of the Lord. And Nama, the holy name of the Lord. And Leela, the pastimes of the Lord. And qualities, Guna, qualities of the Lord. All these things we can use while doing the prayers to the Lord or Vandana. In the Sankirtana, under the heading of Sankirtana, you can see there the example for Nama Kirtana. That is, in the Vishnu Dharma, there is a statement glorifying the process of congregational chanting. My dear king, this word Krishna is so auspicious. Okay, let me open the Veda base. It will be clear. Actually, I kept everything ready, but because of the power cut, it has all got closed. Okay, you can see here, under singing, we have Sankirtana. And in Sankirtana, the first part is Nama Kirtana. So here it is there, Vishnu Dharma. My dear king, this word Krishna is so auspicious that anyone who chants this holy name immediately gets rid of the resultant actions of sinful activities from many births. So here the king, it is told in the Vishnu Dharma that here glorification is about the Nama or the word Krishna. So this is Nama Kirtan. Then next comes the pastimes or Leela, where you can see here the glorification is about the activities of the Lord. The activities. The example here from Srimad Bhagavatam, where Prahlad Maharaj is offering prayers to the Lord. My dear Lord Narsimha, if I can be elevated to the position of your servant, then it will be possible for me to hear about your activities. You are the supreme friend, the supreme worshipable deity. Your pastimes are transcendental, and simply by hearing of them, one can counteract all sinful activities. So you can read it, all these things. So here, this paragraph is talking about the activities of the Lord. So whenever we pray to the Lord, we can either take the holy name of the Lord, or we can take different pastimes of the Lord, or we can also take the qualities of the Lord. So the next here we have the glories or qualities of the Lord. So this is in Narada Muni tells his disciple Vasudeva, my dear Vyasa, you should know that persons who are engaged in executing austerities and penances, studying the Vedas, performing big sacrifices, chanting the hymns of the Vedas, speculating on transcendent knowledge, and performing charitable functions have all their auspicious activities simply gain a place in the association of devotees and chant the glories of the Lord. So this glories of the Lord is nothing but the guna or qualities of the Lord. It is indicated here that chanting about the and glorifying the Lord is the ultimate activities of the living entity. So there is a mixture of all the things, Dhama, Rupa, Nama, Leela, Guna, all these things, they are included. Next comes the Japa. Here Japa means one is loud chanting, that is Sankirtana, as well as soft chanting is called as Japa, where the person is chanting the holy name of the Lord oneself, for himself. The chanting should be loud enough so that he can hear what he is chanting, but he will not be chanting very loudly. It is only for that person. That is called Japa. Next comes the submission. Under submission, there are three main parts, that is submission to the Lord. First one is Samprarthanatmika, second one is Dainya Bodhika, third one Lalasamai. This is there in the slide also. Samprarthanatmika, feelingly offering prayers to the Lord. Dainya Bodhika means humbly submitting oneself, and Lalasamai, desiring perfectional states. So what is the difference between these? Whenever we have any Vaishnava Acharya's Kirtan, it will be a mixture of these three, or any one kind of prayer will be visible prominently. The Samprarthanatmika means we glorify the Lord for his all activities, the name like Gauranga Bolite Habe Polaka Sharira. Whenever I hear the name of the Lord, my the hairs will stand on end, or whatever the devotee feels when he remembers the Lord. All these things are they will sing like in a prayer. That is the Samprarthanatmika. The devotee is singing all kinds of glorification of the Lord, the pastimes, everything. Then Dainya Bodhika means the person is humbly submitting to the Lord by explaining the problems, or why he is not able to practice Krishna consciousness, what is the difficulties, what are the problems he is facing. Amara Jivana Sada Paperata Nahiko Punyaralesha. My life is full of sinful activities. I don't have any pious credit. I am not able to remember you, oh my Lord. So this is the way where how the devotee is praying to the Lord. It is dainya, a humble state of submission, where the person is telling the Lord, "Oh my Lord, I cannot perform your devotional service. It is not. I am not able to do it properly. I am not capable. I am not qualified." So all these things will come under this. Then Lalasamai means desiring perfectional stage, where the devotee is expecting certain kind of service to the Lord. Here, Lalasa, the word Lalasa means desire. But this desire is not material. Material desires will bind us, but this desire will give us liberation. That is, when we become Lalasa, very intense desire for serving the Lord, to take up the service to the Lord. That is Lalasamai. I want to serve the Lord. For serving the Lord, the devotee is ready to take up all kinds of penances and difficulties. He is ready to undergo. So this is coming under Lalasamai. We chant the kirtan to Tulsi Maharani. Ye nivedana dharo sakhirano gata karo, seva adhikara diya karo nija dasi. We are praying, oh my dear Tulsi Maharani, please give me service to Krishna. Like this, it is the Lalasamai. And the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it is also Lalasamai Kirtan. It is a cry to the Lord, where I am telling, "Oh Radharani, please engage me in the service of Krishna." So we are asking Krishna, we are asking the devotee of the Lord, that is the highest, greatest devotee of the Lord is Radharani. We are asking Radharani. Hare means Virhara. The word Hare refers to Radharani. And Hare, when we say, we are calling, "Oh Radharani, please engage me in the service of the Lord Shri Krishna." That is the meaning of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So when we pray this, when we sing, chant this or do the kirtan, feelingly, it is Lalasamai. As Rupa Goswami says, whenever I chant the holy name of the Lord, the tears will come in the eyes. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has shown this symptom. Whenever they hear the name of the Lord, or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he sees the sand dune in the Puri Jagannatha, he thinks that it's a Govardhana hill, and he runs behind that. And when he hears some flute sound, suddenly he will faint. Like that, whenever they remember the Lord, they will show all these symptoms. So because of that intense desire to serve the Lord, all these symptoms are visible. So that is Lalasamai. So Samprarthanatmika, Dainyabodhika, and Lalasamai. These are the three types of prayers that one can offer to the Lord. Let us hear from Prabhupada. Puja Mataji, you can read.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Prana.
Hare Krishna.
Laulyam Lalasamai. One should learn how to cry for the Lord. One should learn this small technique, and he should be very eager and actually cry to become engaged in some particular type of service. This is called Laulyam, and such tears are the price for the highest perfection. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. So Hare Krishna Mahamantra chanting is nothing but we are learning to cry to the Lord. What kind of cry? It is a cry of the child to the mother. When the child is crying to the mother, I want your association, then the cry should be very intense. If the child is getting satisfied with anything that mother gives, then the mother will not give complete attention to the child. But when the child will not accept anything else other than Krishna, other than mother, then the mother will personally take care of the child. Similarly, whenever we do devotional service, we may get so many material benefits, or we may try to become happy by so many other means. But when we really become eager to see the Lord, eager to serve the Lord, when we intensely pray to the Lord, this kind of cry, whatever Prabhupada is telling here, then we get the mercy of the Lord. So that is, we should learn to cry. That is Lalasamai or Laulya. There is no difference between Laulya and Lalasamai. It is same. Laulya means greed, intense greed to serve the Lord. It's in a positive way. Neeta Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Laulyam Lalasamai. If one develops this laulyam or excessive eagerness for meeting and serving the Lord in a particular way, that is the price to enter into the kingdom of God. Nectar of Devotion, 83. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Tatra laulyam ekalam mulyam. That means if you want to really take to Krishna consciousness seriously, then the price that you have to pay to get this is laulyam. If you have this laulyam, the intense desire to serve the Lord, intense desire to hear about the Lord, then one can firmly situated in the service to the Lord. In Bhagavatam, there is a shloka. This is the shloka comes in 10th canto, 14th chapter, 8th shloka, where it is told, Tattenu kampam susamikshamano bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam hridvag vipubhir vadan vidadan namaste jivetayo mukti pade sadhaya bhak. Here the word daya bhak means it is a rightful inheritance. Just like the person, if the father is having some wealth, automatically it comes to his son. The son don't have to do anything else. He just have to be with the father. Then automatically the wealth gets transferred to the son. Similarly, the devotional service, if we are practicing devotional service continuously, then the liberation or going back to Godhead will become the rightful claim. Lata Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Expecting the Lord's mercy, my dear Lord, any person who is constantly awaiting your causeless mercy to be bestowed upon him and who goes on suffering the resultant action of his past misdeeds, offering you respectful obeisance from the core of his heart, is certainly eligible to become liberated, for it has become his rightful claim. Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 14th verse 8. Nectar of Devotion, page 91. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So what one has to do in the life, there are difficulties and also there are sometimes happiness. So whenever there is suffering, the devotee will take it as because of the Lord, I am suffering very little, but actually I have to suffer more. So he is just waiting for the causeless mercy of the Lord and goes on suffering. Whatever suffering comes, he will just take that suffering, and he understands that all these sufferings are coming because of my own past deeds. And at the same time, he will offer respectful obeisances to the Lord. That is called here Tatyenu Kampam Susamikshamana. You continuously offer the obeisances to the Lord, whether you are in a good position or in a difficult position. At all conditions, one should keep worshipping the Lord. Then the person will be the rightful. He can have the rightful claim on the liberation or going back to Godhead. Generally, what devotees think is, when the difficulty comes, they will think, actually I have to suffer more because the Lord has shown me the mercy. I am suffering very little. And whenever he is in happiness, he thinks that actually I am not eligible for getting this happiness, because Krishna is merciful to me. He is giving all this happiness. So whatever comes, he will remember Krishna. So that is the nature of a devotee. It is very difficult. It is not so easy, as we say, because whenever there is a lot of difficulty comes in life, people forget the Lord and they will try so many other ways. But here, whoever is very serious in practicing Krishna consciousness, he must remain in Krishna consciousness, understanding what is the real cause of the problem. Nandita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. 44. Expecting the Lord's mercy. This statement of Srimad Bhagavatam should be the guide of all devotees. A devotee should not expect immediate relief from the reactions of his past misdeeds. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Lord Krishna will not remove all the difficulties from our life immediately as soon as we start the devotional service. It takes some time so that we don't go back to our bad habits or our bad associations again. Whenever a person comes to Krishna, Krishna will test him, and he will make sure that the person will remain in Krishna consciousness and he will advance in Krishna consciousness. That is the difference between demigod worship and the worship of the Lord. When we worship the demigods, they will give some immediate benefit. Just like if you take the examples of Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, they only worship Lord Brahma or other demigods because there the benefits are given without any protection. But if a person, just like if you take the example of Dhruva Maharaj, when he went to the Lord for the same cause, he also wanted wealth. But the Dhruva Maharaj, when he saw the beautiful form of the Lord, he told, I don't want any other benediction. I have the darshan of your beautiful form. That itself is enough for me. I was searching for some piece of glasses, but I got the diamond. Now I don't want those piece of glasses anymore. So first purification happens, then the person will be given the happiness or the real benefit of devotional service. So all the anarthas will go away. So this will take some time. So one should be very patient in practicing Krishna consciousness. Gradually, the person comes to the purification state. Vijay Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Expecting the Lord's mercy. When such impediments arise, he should simply think of Krishna and accept his mercy. That is the only solace. If a devotee passes his day in that spirit, it is certain that he is going to be promoted to the abode of the Lord. By such activities, he earns his claim to enter into the kingdom of Lord. Nectar of Devotion, page 91. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. If we take the example of Ambarish Maharaj, when Durvas Muni created a demon to kill Ambarish Maharaj, he did not move from his place even an inch also. He just stood there and just prayed to the Lord. And immediately the Sudarshana Chakra came and destroyed the demon. So that is how the devotee, the pure devotee of the Lord, is firmly fixed in the protection of the Lord. Rakshishyati iti vishvaso. Krishna will always protect me. So that is the steadiness that they have in the practice of Krishna consciousness. Now we have a activity. The reading activity was given to read the pages 93, 94. This is regarding the Manasa Puja. This is the end of chapter number 10. Identify general principles drawn from the examples of South Indian Brahmana. Discuss how these principles can be applied in our practice of Krishna consciousness. Here, there is a story you must have read already, where a Brahmana is thinking of the Lord in his mind in itself. So if we don't have enough paraphernalia for the Lord, or there is no facility for the Lord, one can offer everything to the Lord within the mind itself. When Lord Krishna was born, Vasudeva wanted to donate millions of cows to the Brahmanas. But because he was in jail, he could not do it. But he did it within the mind itself. And then when he actually got released from the jail, then after that he donated it in the real manner or externally. So that is how a person can do the devotion to the Lord within the mind itself, mind also. So that is explained in this paragraph, in this part of the book. So what are the general principles drawn from the examples of South Indian Brahman, and how these principles can be applied in the practice of Krishna consciousness? So this is the question. If anybody has any doubts in the question, you can raise your hand.
The page numbers and they are not matching. 94, 95.
93, 94. In my book, it is 93, 94.
It is not matching.
Okay, let me show you the
94. No, it's not showing.
If you go to chapter number 10 at the
Chapter
end.
number 10 starts at 99.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. There were new additions, so it might have changed.
Hearing, expecting the mercies, Lord's mercy.
Okay, okay. Go to
Page
the
number,
chapter number 10.
end of the chapter.
Yeah. Go to the end of chapter number 10. There you have.
Meditation. Meditation, that's all. Last 3 pages of meditation.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Hare.
Hare Krishna.
So you have 5 minutes for discussion and 2 minutes for presentation. Let us make 3 groups because there are only 11 people. Or shall we make only 2 groups?
2, Prabhu, 2.
Is enough. Okay. Okay, we'll make 2 groups. The time starts now. Hare Krishna, welcome back to the discussion. This is regarding the Dhyanam. Sorry, yeah. Meditation. Anu Mataji, you can start.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
This example of South Indian Brahmana gives an example of how Mansik Puja can be done. Like through your mind, you can concentrate on Paramatma in your heart and do all the things which you would do to a person who's physically present. When we like somebody, our parents or anybody, we constantly, after even they are gone, we do things for them so that they have a pace. So similarly, God replaces everything in our hearts, every relationship, and if we want to serve Him, we can serve Him. This is the main principle. And here, this person was very, very nice and down to earth, and he didn't have many ambitions in life. And whatever he had, he was satisfied. And he thought whatever he has is by the mercy of Krishna, and what he does not have because he had done some misdeed, and he was satisfied, whatever he was in the position he was. And he was already in the first two stages of Smaranam and Kirtanam. So when someday he met somebody and who said that you can serve Lord even through meditation, and that is Mansik Seva. So he actually, even if he's not able to physically carry out those activities, so he was not very well off, and he thought this is a good way, and he began. So in his mind, in the morning, he would go to the river, take a Godavari, and take a bath and sit on its bank and exercise, and then fix his mind on Paramatma in his hand. And then he would imagine that he's had some gold and silver pots and he's bringing water from the river and giving a nice bath to the Lord and cleaning the temple very nicely. And he did all this and collected flowers, fruits, incense, sandalwood, and everything. And physically, he did everything which forms part of the Pancharatra, whatever it is called, that kind of service. And he would daily do it. And after one day, he thought he would offer kheer to Lord, and he prepared. And we are not supposed to give hot things to Lord. So he put his finger in it, and he realized when he came from his trance that his finger was burned. So after that, he was very surprised that this has happened. Then he thought that this is a connection which he's had. And after this, as he was in Dastya Bhav and serving Lord as a king and loving him like a child, the Lord sent him, gave him a place in Vaikuntha. So this general principles are that when we do Vishnu Smaranam, Pad Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, and Dastyam, he was already covered the major steps of devotional service. And he was doing the Dhama, Rupa, Nama, Leela, Guna. He was doing Vandana, and he was doing everything which is prescribed, and he did not even know about it because it was very spontaneous for him to go about it. And how these principles can be applied in our practice of Krishna consciousness. they, actually, he was already in the Sandranand Visesatma and Sri Krishna Akrishani. Sandranand Visesatma, he was already in a transcendental platform in this material world, and he attracted Krishna when Krishna offered him a place in Vaikuntha. So these principles can be applied to our lives also. Like we can, though it is very difficult to sometimes go in a trance like this, but we can follow these paths, and it is not possible for us to take our vigras to every place we go. We can do it in our mind, and this way, when our heart is filled of for Lord, there is no way we can somebody can disturb us. And that's it, Prabhuji. Rest will follow. The others will do it. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. One more group. Akila Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guruji. See, Guruji, like with this, we can conclude that this is audible, right?
Yeah.
Okay. With this, I can conclude that see, body, mind, and speech. These are the three powerful instruments given by Paramatma for all human beings. If we maintain purity with this, and with that, if we pray, we can achieve anything. See, that's what here Brahmana example we can take. Sometimes I feel this is better than physical, because physically sometimes physically we are present, mentally absent. In mental status, that is not possible, I feel. And the meanwhile, like Brahmana, what he's doing it's a really good job, because the offering to Lord is like it is permanent. Whereas like it is like Lord is the Paramatma is the he's the parent of our Atma. Whereas what our Indriyas are located externally, what we feel means we feel like this material world is permanent and we serve the material world. But instead, instead, if Indriyas are placed internally, we could have identified Atma is the permanent, we have to serve the Lord. That's what. Here the serving Lord, whatever might be the way, physically, mentally, or by chanting. Everything can be reached to Paramatma. Probably his time is there. If time is there means, shall I tell how we got liberated with karma theory equation?
Yeah, you can take 2 minutes.
To next time.
How much time you want, Mataji?
No, I will like to explain that karma theory equation, how we got liberated. That's it. Around 3-4 minutes.
Okay, continue.
Actually, there are 3 types of karma: Sanchita karma, Prarabdha karma, Agami karma. Sanchita karma means past janma's karma, because due to past janma's karma, our sharira is decided. So where I have to born, where in which place, whether if I born in Devi Devata's womb, I will do Loka Kalyana. Suppose if I do Daman means I may do Loka Kanta. So this Sanchita karma decides what type of sharira I have to be. Then Prarabdha karma is the present karma. Then Agami karma is the future karma. So actually, the person who has to get liberated, for them, this the Prarabdha karma works. The newly Prarabdha karma is equal to the present Prarabdha karma plus Sanchita karma. Sanchita karma. Sanchita karma means past janma karma. When the person starts Nishkama karma, then the Prarabdha karma gradually it becomes 0. Then the newly Prarabdha karma is equal to Sanchita Prarabdha karma. That is the Sanchita karma. It will be the Sanchita karma means the previous karma. Then the following that Nishkama karma, if a person continuously, if a person does it, even that becomes 0. When Prarabdha, Sanchita and Agami, everything becomes 0, the person gets liberated as Brahmana. It happened to Brahmana.
Thank you, Mataji. Here we have used the term as prarabdha, aprarabdha. That word we say sanchita means that is the time taken for
It is written in Veda. Vedanga, it is like that. Here you have mentioned.
There is some difference in the words, that's all.
Yeah.
Karmani nirdahati kintuja bhakti bhajam. Nishkama karma refers to the bhakti that we do, because when the karma becomes nishkama, that is only through the bhakti. Otherwise, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, just by giving up the work, one cannot achieve nishkama. Real nishkama means one who offers the result of his activity to Krishna. Then only it is real nishkama. Otherwise, the karma, just like nacha sanyasanadeva siddhim samadhigacchati. Just by taking sannyasa, one cannot come to siddhi. One has to become devotee. Then only he can come to the perfectional stage. Or if I simply give up all the activities, I will not be considered as a nishkami, or completely given up all the activities. The one who has offered the result of his activity to Krishna, then only the real nishkama will come. So that is nothing but another way of telling it is bhakti itself. So through bhakti, karmani nirdahati kintuja bhakti bhajam, that is told in the Brahma Samhita. So the bhakti will destroy all kinds of karma, either prarabdha karma or aprarabdha karma, puta, bija, everything will be destroyed, and the person will get purified and go back to Godhead. Yes, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Anybody else? Lata Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I'll just attempt to say about Krishna Manasa Puja. In the Lagu Sostra Mala, it says that I think of Krishna in my heart. He is Krishna who is like a rich cloud, whose eyes are like lotus, and who wears the crowns, and who's with garland with gems and precious stones, and who glitters from top to bottom, and we have no eyes to imagine the beauty or the glitter of the Lord. And his feet, the lotus feet, is so beautiful that the toes of the Lord is shining with, and we cannot imagine that every toes of Krishna glitters like diamond and studded stones and this thing. And when his hands are on the flute, it is like I have no eyes to see how the fingers are, and I meditate on his lotus feet, which is where the mercy is bestowed upon. And we as human being can't think, and I have no mind, I have no heart, I have no eyes, I have no voice to chant. I am no one. I am your servant, O Lord. Please give me your mercy to even imagine and meditate upon yourself like that. And it is that way. We wherever we are, when we are, whichever place we are, we think of him, and his appearance is the way we offer him the prasad. It says, Lord, I cannot, I'm so poor, I have no this thing to offer you, but Manasikama, I offer you 1008 types of sweets and things which has been offered by Radharani to you. And I in my imagination and my meditation, I offer this to you, O Lord. Please accept it and let me feel that you have touched that and eaten that morsel of that, and offer me that prasad, so that every sense and every cells of my body is under Krishna consciousness. This is about the gist of the Manasa Puja that has been there in the Gusostra Mala. And I just made an attempt by the grace of mercy of the Lord and the Guru. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. This is about the Manasa Puja. Manasa Puja, it can be done only when a person has a steady mind, or when he is fixed in his thoughts, then only one can perform this Manasa Puja. Otherwise, Manasa Puja becomes impossible, because our mind is very flickering. The sages in the forest, they meditate, and for many years they'll practice to keep the mind at the lotus feet of the Lord. It will take so many years to practice this. So by doing so, they can they can see the lotus feet of the Lord after making so much of endeavor. So it is for the neophyte devotees, it is better to perform physical service to the Lord. Otherwise, it is not possible. Our mind is not so strong. We can see even while chanting how good we are in chanting, how nicely we chant for 2 hours, how many times we sleep in between. So that is because the holy name of the Lord is so strong and it is absolute that there is no difference between holy name and Lord himself. And calling the name of the Lord and we fall asleep. This shows how strong or how attached we are to the holy name of the Lord. But if we are able to perform this, it is very good opportunity to serve the Lord, because in the mind there is no limit. One can bring anything in the mind. Physically, we may be having so many limitations in this material world, but in the mind, one can think of a golden throne and bringing the waters from all the rivers and offering everything to the Lord that is present, all the best things to the Lord, and decorating the Lord with all the golden ornaments and the jewelries, and doing arati for the Lord. So all these things are possible in the mind, which may not be available in the physically offering for everyone. So that is the advantage. But there is also requirement for a proper standard, or the strong mind is needed. Otherwise, what happens if you are performing physically, something you are doing. But if you are doing in mind, if your mind gets disturbed, then there will not be anything will remain. Everything is gone. So that's why the sages, if somebody disturbs them, they get a lot of anger, because their meditation is disturbed and they have lost everything. Their meditation is everything for them, because through the meditation only they can realize the Lord. So that is lost means it gives a lot of frustration for the person. So that one should make the use of this very consciously. And this is not a exchange. That is, you cannot avoid the physical service to the Lord just because you are able to do the meditation. It should not become an excuse. One must do whatever possible service one can do. One must do for the Lord. Otherwise, he is cheating himself and also the Lord. Just like a person is able to perform very nice service to the Lord, he can arrange for the Lord's worship. But what he does, okay, I don't do anything. I'll just sit here and I'll just meditate on the Lord. So that is not correct. Because if you take the example of Vasudeva himself, when he was not capable, he did the Goseva, the Godana, in the mind itself. He distributed so many cows. But when he was capable, when he got released from the jail, he actually distributed all the cows, whatever he had done in the mind. So thinking of the Lord in the mind is also a means to get the actual physical service to the Lord. When we actually think of the Lord, I want to do this for the Lord. Oh Lord, please give me an opportunity to come to you. Oh Lord, please give me opportunity to serve you in this manner. So when we keep on thinking like this to the Lord, because the Lord is absolute, there is no difference between the Lord himself and thinking of the Lord, the thought of the Lord. So the Lord actually arranges for an opportunity to serve him in that manner. So all these things will, this facility we get by this Manasa Puja. And it is not recommended for worshipping the Lord if we have the deities at home and only do Manasa Puja. That is not allowed. One must do the service to the Lord. One must bathe the deities and dress the deities, offer the bhoga to the deities. One cannot simply sit and meditate on the Lord that I am giving you this, I am giving that. That is not recommended. And one more point is, whenever we go to yatra, we are not able to have access to the deities. Okay, that time definitely you can think of the Lord in the mind itself and you can offer. At the same time, if you have the deities at home, you have to make some alternative arrangement. That service cannot be replaced. The physical service, whatever it is done, either you have to carry the deities or you have to arrange another devotee who can take care of the deity for those that time when you are not there at home. So we cannot take the excuse of practicing Manasa Puja for not doing the physical service to the Lord. You can have higher service to the Lord. That is allowed. The regular standard of service, whatever we are doing to the Lord, to the deities, it must be done. And on top of that, you can do the more seva to the Lord, even in the mind. And definitely, if you are doing this Manasa Seva in the mind seriously, Krishna will definitely give an opportunity to do it physically also. And this Pratishthanapura Brahmana, the example is given, there is no actual difference at all. When we are thinking of the Lord and when you are actually serving the Lord, there is no difference because Krishna is absolute. Whenever we chant the holy name of the Lord, the name itself, in the name itself, the Lord is there. The name is not representing the Lord. Actually, the name itself, Nama Namina, Abhinnatvat Nama Namina, Nama Chintamani Krishna, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, Purna Shuddha, Nitya Mukta, Abhinnatvat Nama Namine. There is no difference between Nama and Nami. So that is the story of a Brahmana in the Pratishthanapura. Now coming back to the same 10th chapter. In the beginning, there is hearing. Hearing means Nama Shravana. Okay, let me share the screen. Here we have the techniques of hearing and remembering. Under hearing, there is a Nama Shravana. In the Garuda Purana, there is an example that is by hearing the holy name of the Lord, a person who has bitten by the snake, he can be cured. That is, the state of condition of life in the material world is just like that of a man lying unconscious, having been bitten by a snake. This is because both such unconscious states can be ended by the sound of a mantra. So mantra treatment is there. By chanting some hymns, one can save the life of a person from the poisonous bite. So that is example is given. Here poisonous bite is compared to the material consciousness, and by hearing the spiritual sound vibration of a spiritual world, one can come to the proper consciousness. Then There are different things we can hear. That is, one is the Nama Shravana, that is explained in this example of snake bite. And then we have the Charita Shravana. Charita means the activities. Just like we had the Kirtan, we had different categories. Here again, the Shravana or hearing. First we have the Nama Kirtan or Nama Shravana. And then in the Srimad Bhagavatam 29th chapter, verse 40, the importance of hearing of the pastimes of the Lord, that is Charita Shravana, is explained, where, my dear king, one should stay at a place where the great acharyas speak about the transcendental activities of the Lord, and one should give a oral reception to the nectarian river flowing from the moon-like faces of such great personalities. If someone eagerly continues to hear such transcendental sounds, then certainly he will become freed from all material hunger, thirst, fear, and lamentation, as well as all illusions of material existence. So this is the Charita Shravana. And then we have Guna Shravana, that is qualities. Here we have the hearing about the qualities of the Lord. Oral reception to the sound vibrated by great devotees, acharyas, that alone give relief from the material contamination. So hearing from professional men will not help. Then next comes the Prabhupada gives one example here. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, a materialistic person can give up his material hankerings only by becoming situated in Krishna consciousness. Unless one finds superior engagement, he will not be able to give up the inferior engagement. And here the qualities are again explained in the next one. A person who desires unalloyed devotional service of the Lord is praised by transcendental sound vibration, should always hear about his glorification and transcendental qualities. This is surely kill all kinds of inauspiciousness in the heart. That is about Shravana. Then expecting the Lord's mercy, that is Tat Kripekshanam. The Srimad Bhagavatam gives the example how a devotee should think of the Lord always. That Tattenu Kampam Susamikshamano. The shloka is explained already. Then comes the remembrance. Under remembrance, we have the meditation. It is Smriti. Now, meditation, what we heard is one part. Other than that, again, we have Rupa Dhyana, Guna Dhyana, Krida Dhyana, Seva Dhyana. Under Seva Dhyana, the example of that Pratishtanapura, that devotee example is given. But here, meditation, Dhyana. Under that first example is Rupa Dhyana. We have the form of the Lord. So in the Narasimha Purana, there is a statement. Meditation focusing on the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead has been accepted as transcendental and beyond the experience of material pain and pleasure. So this is Rupa Dhyana, meditating on the form of the Lord. Then Guna Dhyana, that is the qualities of the Lord. It is said persons who are constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness and who remember the transcendental qualities of the Lord become free from all reactions to sinful activities. Then Krida Dhyana. Krida means activities. Remembering the activities of the Lord. A person who always engaged in meditation of the sweet pastimes and wonderful activities of the Lord surely becomes free from all material contamination. That is Krida Dhyana. And then finally, the Seva Dhyana, that is Brahma Vaivarta Purana, is describing this story of the Pratishtanapura Brahmana. So with that, we have come to the end of this 10th chapter, and that is the end of lesson number 7. Let us hear finally from Srila Prabhupada. Anybody would like to read? Anita Mataji. Okay, Neeta Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Neeta Mataji.
Hare Krishna. The story of a Brahmana who worshipped the Lord within his mind, as related in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu or Nectar of Devotion, should be consulted in this connection. If paraphernalia is not present physically, one can think of the items and offer them to the deity by chanting the mantra. Such are the liberal and potent facilities in the process of devotional service. Srimad Bhagavatam 4.8.58. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So with this, we have discussed the glories of the worship of the Lord deity form, and very feelingly offered the prayers to Krishna. Significance of Laulyam and Lalasamai. There is no difference between Laulyam and Lalasamai, it is same. Appropriate attitude towards suffering in one's life, how one should accept the suffering in life, and then discuss general principles drawn from the examples of South Indian Brahmana, and explain how these principles can be applied personally, how we can do this at home, what should be done, what should not be done. All these things are explained. Puja Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
If one gives oral reception to the sound vibrated by great devotees and acharyas, that alone will give him relief from all material contamination. If we hear from those who are actually self-realized, then the nectarian rivers, like those which are flowing on the moon planet, will flow into our ears. This is metaphor used in the above verse. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Nectar of Devotion, page 9.
Okay, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Now, if you have any questions, you can ask by raising your hand.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Prabhuji, Laulyam, you first said you have to cry like a child for Lord. This is not a rasa when you consider yourself as the child of Lord. And in my opinion, this is the only rasa we have for Lord. Other rasas are, I think, like flavors.
Mataji, can you kindly repeat your question? I got distracted.
I have 3 questions, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
I'm telling in advance. First question is Laulyam. Laulyam, you said you have to cry like a child for Lord. But I believe that this is the only primary rasa which a jiva can have for Lord, because you remember Lord in extremes and you remember him extremely. So this is the primary rasa. Other rasas like Sakhya, Madhurya, they are flavors of this rasa.
Okay. So what is primary, what is secondary? We have seen earlier. Primary rasa means one which is there with you always. Secondary rasa is one which comes and goes. So why do we call it as primary? This Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. These rasas will remain with you. If you are a Dasya rasa, you can always be Dasya with the Lord. But other Dasya or Sakhya or Vatsalya, Madhurya. But other rasa like anger or wonder, this is coming for some time and goes away. It will not stay for long. If it stays for long, then it will create problem. Just like when Arjuna saw the Vishwarupa of the Lord, it is for certain time. Then Arjuna prays to Lord, please close this vision. I can't see you anymore. That is secondary rasa. And Arjuna is always in Sakhya rasa with the Lord. That is primary rasa. That is how it is categorized, primary and secondary. So not in this way, Mataji.
No, you said in Laulyam rasa, you actually cry like a child for Lord.
Yeah.
But this is not a rasa where you consider Lord as your parents. This is not a rasa. This is not any rasa where you think that Krishna is your father.
Okay.
Yes. So in my opinion, I think this is the only rasa which is most prominent, like the Aarti will have Om Jaya Jagadisha Hare, that one. It is where you say Jagdish is my father. So,
whatever it is a beginning state. Whenever a person devotional service begins, he has neither Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya and all. it is only understanding that God is great, I am very small. That is the first understanding. So in that state, it is explained, and that is the beginning state. And after once a person advances in Krishna consciousness in the spiritual life, he will be able to relate with any other kind of rasa. Otherwise, even if you take the example of Prahlad Maharaj was worshipping the Lord, and he was considering Lord as his protector. So that is also visible in the great devotees. So it is like Vatsalya Bhava in the reverse order. That is, the Lord is my father. In one sense, Vatsalya means the Lord is considered as one's child. Or here, in this case, the Lord is considered as one's own father. So both are possible. Once in the advanced state, also it is possible. And in a neophyte state, it is for everyone. The Lord is our father. One should understand the greatness of the Lord, then one must worship the Lord.
Second question, Prabhuji, we come to this world because we were envious of Lord. So am I correct in assuming that a person who is more envious will get a male body and who is less envious will get a female body, because the male has to realize himself as a female and then appreciate the love for God? Like it is written in Bhagavatam also and Granth Sahib also, that we all are wives of Lord, and we have to, he's the only husband. That is there in both Granth Sahib also and Bhagavatam also. So is it correct to assume that because God gave few people male body, they were probably more envious, so that they would have to come to the stage of a female to realize what actually is love for the God? You know, is that correct interpretation?
You told it is in Bhagavatam. Where it is, Mataji, exactly?
It is not.
Then you are guessing.
It is there in Granth Sahib. I can find it out. Bhagavatam, I don't know.
Yeah, that is not my field of study, so I can't comment on that. But what you told is not correct. The person gets a body based on their karma, and it is depending on the last thought of your previous death. In that case, if the husband remembers the wife at the time of death, then he will take a birth as a woman in the next life. We have the example of Puranjana's story in the Puranjana Upakhyana given by Narada Muni in Srimad Bhagavatam, where Puranjana at the time of death, he remembered his wife and he got a female body in the next life. That is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. So it is not either male or female based on this. And you can't say all female body, those who got, they are servants of the Lord, and those who are male, they are not surrendered to the Lord. These people who are taken male body, they can also be more submitted to the Lord. That is possible. So in material world, everyone is Purusha and everyone is Prakriti. Both are possible, because everyone is a Purusha, because those who want to enjoy material benefits or this material world, that enjoyment spirit is Purusha, one who is enjoying. So one who is trying to enjoy, he is a Purusha. Either he is a female or male, it is different. One who has enjoyment spirit, he is considered as Purusha. And one who is serving, or one who is participating in the enjoyment, that is the Prakriti. And one who understands that I am Jivara Swarupohaya Krishnara Nitya Dasa, that is the real understanding. That is, everyone is a Prakriti. But you cannot categorize them like one who is more envious will become male, less envious become female. It doesn't work like that, because in that case, if you say all the females who are there, they must be better than all the males who are present in devotion. That is not true.
Third question, Prabhuji. Last time you said Paramatma leaves when you leave your material body. So can you tell me please the journey of the soul when a person dies? And at what stage Paramatma re-enters a soul's life?
There is no re-entering. Once the soul goes back to Godhead, the Paramatma leaves the Paramatma accompanies him till then, because the Paramatma is everywhere. But in the spiritual world, it is absolute. The soul is with Krishna himself. There is no separate Paramatma.
When you die, Paramatma remains with us. When I die, Paramatma will be with me.
Yes, Mataji. You are in the Sukshma Sharira, no? Your subtle body will not get destroyed. Along with the subtle body, Paramatma is also there.
So even if I'm sent to hellish worlds, Paramatma goes with me.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
But Paramatma will not suffer.
Okay.
Suffering is only for the Jiva. See, if you are to, just for example, a person enters the fire. The fire entering, that suffering comes only to that Jiva, not to the Paramatma. Paramatma will not suffer because of the entry of the fire, but definitely the Paramatma will suffer when he sees that you are doing this kind of activity. It is just like the child eat an ice cream and it is suffering because of fever. But more than the child, the parents are worried, not because they got the fever, but their child has got fever. So by seeing the condition of the soul, fallen conditioned soul, Paramatma will feel for it, but directly the pain will not affect the Lord.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Nandita Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please forgive my very silly question after a lot of serious questions. I just wanted to know the laulyam, Prabhuji. It's greed, right? Now, where is the line of demarcation in service? Like greed for service? Is it? I don't understand it because I find people snatching opportunities from others to do service. Is that the right thing to do? I mean, how does the affected person feel? Or, I mean, am I doing the right thing if I do something like that?
One must have the intense desire for serving the Lord, and one should try for it by all means. It doesn't mean snatching. If you take the example of Radharani herself, she will push everyone for the service of the Lord, and she feels herself to be very low, and I am not qualified to serve the Lord. At the same time, she is always eager to serve the Lord.
Yes.
It is, one should not create blockage for others' service, but the intense desire is there to serve the Lord. Because of this desire, the devotee is ready to take up all kinds of penances and all kinds of difficulties. This we can see in the examples of acharyas.
Prabhuji, you're talking of a very elevated level. I am talking about neophytes who are trying to do service. And here we are still in that competitive stage, having expectations, wanting appreciation, and all that. Okay, some of us do realize where we are going wrong and stop. But many of them don't realize that there is another person being hurt by this or whatever. So how does one deal with this? Because you cannot stop someone from doing service. But is it okay to speak to the person and say that, that this has happened, and I mean, not stop, but just to do something, or, because they won't understand the example that you just gave.
Yeah, whatever you told is correct. In the neophyte state, you cannot say neophyte also. Neophytes make mistake. That is also not a problem.
Yes.
But once a person comes to maturity, he should understand how to distribute the services. It is not that you actually take service from others or you block the other service, but you should have the desire to serve. That is the main thing. Here, the Krishna consciousness is individually a personal thing for everyone. Our liberation from this material world is depending on how much we are attached to the Lord. It is just like example Prabhupada gives. When the aeroplane is flying in the air, it has to take care of itself by itself. No other aeroplane can come and help. Similarly, how much desire we have developed for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, for chanting the holy name of the Lord, that will decide how much we can elevate in the devotional service. And also the service doesn't mean the service which we have competition. There are so many other services but we can regularly do, and it is compulsory to do. That in that service, if we develop this laulyam, then we will advance more.
Yes, Prabhu. I understand, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Instead of competitive service, we can go for the service which we regularly perform, like japa, reading Bhagavatam, and so many other services. And engaging others in Krishna's service is also a service.
True, Prabhu. But the thing is, no one understands that Shravanam, Kirtanam are all services. We want to do something because we are going to get thanks from somebody. Because we all, as usual, like in the material world, we have expectations and we want appreciation. And here we don't get paid for it. I mean, I'm just talking about everybody, all volunteers. So the least we can do is we want praise. We want people to say how well you recite shlokas, or I want somebody to call me when there is a need, and I feel so wanted and so important. So that is something I can't figure out about why sadhaks have to be like that. So that's the reason I asked you.
This need not be discouraged. Just like when a child is learning something, it will be having some pride of learning or doing some activity. So that pride itself will take them to certain level. In the neophyte stage, it is not a offense, but as a person comes to maturity, he should understand. When a person is very much interested in doing certain kind of service, okay, he has some kind of expectation in return, or somebody is praising. It need not be discouraged at the neophyte stage, as we also encourage the people. Oh, you are doing so much nice service, so you continue like that. So that is the way how we encourage the people. So that becomes encouragement. But as the person grows more and more, then one must understand, one should come to the maturity.
Agreed, Prabhu. As through my experience, I know that when we step back and tolerate and accept, it automatically comes to us. So
Yes.
it's Krishna takes care of it. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Akhila Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Hare Krishna.
Guruji, no question. Like Anu Mataji told, right? Crying is not a rasa, but it is a rasa, Guruji. Because, for example, if salesperson comes to our home, if that salesperson says, that person don't have any money, nothing, please buy that product. In that factor of sympathy, we may purchase. So many, I have seen. Even crying is also one type of rasa. I feel that's
There are 12 rasa, Mataji. In that, the crying also comes. It's
no,
a secondary
Mataji told, no? That's what the answer like to be.
Yeah, it is a secondary rasa because one will not cry all the time. It is coming and going. So it comes under the secondary category.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Vijay Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have actually one practical problem, practical confusion, I would say. Prabhuji, recently we are shifted near ISKCON Ravet. So every time I actually try to attend Mangal Aarti. But at the initial stage of my sadhana, I used to do it at home. So now I'm not doing at home and I'm visiting temple. So to which I should give priority, Prabhuji? I should go to temple and attend Mangal Aarti with other devotees, or I should stay at home and do the deity worship at home?
No, if you have the facility, you must go to temple, because association of the devotees is very much useful. If possible, you should take maximum association of the devotees. If you have deities at home,
Prabhuji, photo, actually we have photos, not deities, but small deities are there of Krishna.
Okay. For photo, there is no much offense. You can attend the Aarti at temple itself, and then coming back, you can do the service to the photo. That is okay. And that is the best way to do it.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare. Anybody else has any questions?
Prabhuji, the Hindi BG18 teacher has joined. Gurunath Prabhu has joined. So
okay, then we'll stop for today. Yeah, Anumataji, you want any question?
Prabhuji, I'll ask next time. It is not related to this session.
Okay, Mataji. We'll see you in the next. I thank all the devotees for coming to the today's session and actively participating in all the discussions. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki
Vaishnavrinda
jai.
ki jai, Srila
Namaskar,
Prabhu.
ki jai. Thank you.
Prabhuji, happy Krishna conscious birthday, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna,
Thank you.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Happy
Hare
birthday, happy Krishna conscious birthday, Prabhuji.
Happy Krishna conscious birthday, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
And heartiest congratulations for your achievement, Prabhuji. I could read that.
Yes, Prabhuji, heartiest congratulations.
So
Thank
your
you,
achievement, Prabhuji, it was, I believe it was Kannada or Tulu. Your certificate, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was
Prabhu.
The PhD, Prabhu.
Yeah, yes, Mataji. Yes.
Could you, any little elaboration on the subject?
My PhD subject, actually.
Yeah, PhD.
I'm not able to stop this YouTube live. Just a minute. It's all getting recorded. Okay, I will tell you sometime unless.
Next time. Okay.
Next class, Prabhu, I'll remind you.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Because there is class.
Congratulations.
Yes. Hare Krishna.
Oh, I am